Good afternoon. We will continue to study about the first order of the subordinating conjunction, which is the pronoun that. The first example that the pronoun that is applied as a subordinating conjunction is this. That you drink water is good. This is frequently stated into this way. It is good that you drink water. The second example with the pronoun that is applied is this. I think that you're generous. Before we go to the next page, we can see that the role of the pronoun is stated in this part. Subject and object. So we can see that the subordinate clause, you drink water, is stated as the subject in the first sentence, and the second sentence, in the second sentence, the subordinate clause is still used as the subject with the preparatory it. The preparatory it lets us prepare for the subject of the whole sentence. So we can see that the subordinate clause that linked with the subordinating conjunction that can be applied as, or can be a subject in a sentence. And the second, before we go to the second example, we can think of the necessity that the preparatory it is applied in a sentence. The preparatory it is it allows us to focus the main intent of the speaker who tried to describe the subject with the verb. The be verb is the verb of the main clause, which delivers the main intent of the speaker. And the first sentence, in the first sentence, the other descriptive word, drink, is stated ahead of the be verb, which is the main verb of the whole sentence. So in a case that we read the sentences like this, there might not be any mistakenly understood listeners, but the listeners who listen to this sentence without the letters can think the action of the subject can be the main event stated in the whole sentence. The speaker might want to prevent this kind of misunderstanding, so the speaker applies the preparatory it to reveal the main intent that the speaker intends to describe, the condition of the subject, which is stated in a subordinate clause. So good point of applying the preparatory of in this sentence is that we can listen to the be verb is ahead of the transitive verb drink in the subordinate clause. In the second example, the subordinating conjunction that is applied as the object of the transitive verb think, and the content of the object. The object is stated with some more detail in the subordinate clause. You're generous. The third example, that the subordinate clause and the subordinating conjunction, that is applied as a subordinate complement is this. The important point is that everyone is grateful. The subordinating conjunction that indicates the subordinate clause. And let's go to the first example. In this example, the subordinate clause and the subordinating conjunction has the role of an object. She thinks that I like coffee. This can be stated briefly because the pronoun that indicates the same condition of the subject in the subordinate clause, the entire subordinate clause. So the fourth example can be briefly stated in this way. She thinks I like coffee. Let's study the first example with the explanation. The speaker links the subordinate clause to indicate the subject you, described by the transitive verb drink in the subordinate clause, as the subject of the be verb is in the main clause with the subordinating conjunction that. The pronoun then indicates the subordinate clause that is applied as a subordinating conjunction in the main clause. The speaker replaces the subordinate clause with the preparatory pronoun it, to convey the condition described by the be verb is in the main clause ahead of the transitive verb drink, to describe the action of the subject in the subordinate clause. The speaker states the subordinate clause linked by the subordinating conjunction that after the main clause is completely stated. So we can learn that the speaker, we can remind the fact that the speaker delivers the main intent in the main clause. The second example is this. I think that you're generous. The speaker applies the pronoun that to indicate the object of the transitive verb think in the main clause, with the subject you described by the be verb are in the subordinate clause as a subordinating conjunction to link the subordinate clause to the main clause. The third example is this. The important point is that everyone is grateful. The speaker applies the pronoun that to indicate the subjective complement that defines the subject. The important point in the main clause with the subject everyone, described by the be verb is in the subordinate clause as a subordinating conjunction to link the subordinate clause to the main clause. The fourth example that can be abbreviated is this. She thinks that I like coffee. This can be stated in this way. She thinks I like coffee. The speaker indicates the object of the transitive verb thinks in the main clause, with the subordinate clause linked by the subordinating conjunction that has the trait as a pronoun. Thank you for watching.